Long feed from the wing attack, Lendeka Buthelezi, but nicely read by Omri van den Berg. 29 goals to 10, which means in the opening 3 minutes of the second half of the match, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda have scored 4 and conceded absolutely nothing. Good rebound there from Omri van den Berg. Will slide over the front of the ring is a better proposition for her, and the gap is up to 20 as far as the two sides are concerned, and Tshwane nothing to offer underneath the net for their side so far. Wing defender bottled up there, Janine Bresler manages to get the pass away though to Tshwane Pony, playing as a wing attack now. Centre player is Keisha van Skalkwyk, and Rochelle Rousseau looking for any goals that she can accumulate. Oh, ball bobbling around all over the place.
Goal defense, free pass. Centre contact.
Contact by Jessica du Plessis.
Going to give a penalty, moving the post.
Well, the shots just aren't going in as far as Cape Town are concerned. They've had opportunity after opportunity. Penalty for moving the post against Monique Reiniger. Must have been rather surprised by that. And finally, Cape Town do get their first goal of the second half. And there's been a lot of damage done since the start of the second half for the 5 goals from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. 5 goals to 1 in the second half so far. Chance for Lucy Strydom. And the rebound contested by Lucy Strydom, but it's contact on Jody Johannes. And we've seen this sometimes when Lucy Strydom is playing as a goal attack, not quite as accurate as the players around her, although that's quick hands at the back by Monique Reiniger, who's playing as a goalkeeper now in the place of Bianca van Lelyveld, who sits the second half, or the start of the second half, on the side of the court.
Towards me. Wait for the whistle. Contact, wing defense, penalty, circle edge, beside and away, wing defense, advantage, not out of play, wing defense.
Sure, Teresa Prince with a lot to say.
Goalkeeper.
All sorts of contact and
yes.
lots of progress being made there by the Cape side. Again, a shot that's not been taken by the goal attack Courtly Bear, but she'll have an opportunity. How many opportunities is that? And still nothing working for Cape Town whatsoever. Not into the wind, not with the wind, not with the ball, not without the ball. So complete domination here from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Another aerial ball there from Jessica du Plessis. And the wind is whipping around here at the Pele Swartcourt Private Game Reserve courts. 20-goal margin of lead. Really desperation stuff that from Cape Town. It was down the other side of the pitch. I would have thought their comment might have been very adventurous, but when you're chasing the game, you've got to try everything you can, and it didn't quite work out on that occasion as a shot goes well wide by Omri van den Berg. When she's shooting from the side, the wind's blowing across her, and she has to take that into consideration. It just sort of slid away from her towards the back of the ring. Again, Bresler battling to get the ball out of the defensive third. Now forward by Dominic Wepner. All down the right-hand side of the court. Nobody cutting onto the far side. But when you do that, you risk being picked off by Monique Reiniger, which didn't happen on that occasion. Lovely work done at the back by Didintle Kiabini in a goal defense position. Penalty against Tshwane Pony, and still, whatever Cape Town are trying, haven't been that successful so far. Just the single goal so far in 7 minutes of netball action in the second half of this match for Cape Town. In the meantime, there have been 7 goals to 1 in the third quarter, and Cape Town staring down the barrel of that pool match defeat by 50 goals to 18. It's already 33 goals to 11. Still 5 minutes to go before the end of this quarter. And don't forget, more matches to come. Got a double header as far as Tshwane and Joburg is concerned. First in the A section and then in the under-21 section. And then we'll have a match between Dr. Kenneth Kaunda against Mangaung in the under-21 semi-finals to finish off today's proceedings.
Contact, penalty. Goal defence, beside and away. Goal defence, beside and next to her. Beside, that means next to her. Thank you.
Nice conversion by Rochelle Rousseau. It's only the second goal in the second half, though, by Cape Town. They trail by 21 goals. Advantage here for the push forward by Londega Buthelezi. Nice landing by Lucy Strydom. Just rolls it in over the front of the ring. Another good effort for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Contact, wing defence.
Just on the centre pass at the moment, but contact there by Adivayo Chibiahubi.
Taken. I said goal third. Your landing foot was at the back, centre third.
So taken in the wrong position, the penalty. All sorts of things being picked up, but then Teresa Prince, you know, he's an international umpire, so yeah, you've got to be wide awake to try and get the better of her. Good sweeping at the back there by Janine Bresler, and turnover ball for Cape Town as the ball eludes Londega Buthelezi.
Cape Town, throw in. Hold time.
Throw in for Cape Town for the ball going missing in action again, and they're fighting hard at the back here.
Whoops.
With Dominic Wepner and company. So Bresler with the restart. Through Wepner, and again using the right-hand side, and again there's an interception from Adivayo Chibiahubi. Full passing game, then opening it up, and that's a good little feed as well from Celeste Pony. It's a much better looking goal for Cape Town. Still plenty of work to do to catch up. 21 goals to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Lovely work at the back by Johannes. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda can't take anything for granted. Still 2.5 minutes remaining in this quarter. Still 12 minutes remaining in the final quarter. They haven't put their name into the final just yet. Held ball, 3 seconds for Kiesje van Schalkwyk. Turnover for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Had the bulk of the turnovers in the match so far.
Contact, holding, goal defense.
Dominic Wepner under pressure, and a nice little fiery ball in there from Strydom to Van den Berg.
Footwork, goal attack, free pass. Goal attack, footwork.
Well, there was a problem for the goal attack court pair, and the ball's been moved down the court. For Elmarie van den Berg to make use of another opportunity, which she indeed does, and it's going to be turnover ball for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Varnage break, wing attack.
Breaking the line from the wing attack again. Well, in fact, Celeste Pony, and little areas creeping in from Cape Town once again. The sights are beautifully set here for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, shooting at 72%. It looks more impressive, though, because I think the scoreline between the two sides is as great as what it is in difference between the two outfits. Only 2 goals in the second half for Cape Town. And there have been 12 goals. So 12 goals to 2 in favour of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda is not only one-sided, it's pretty devastating for the opposition, who then score their 3rd goal of the second half.
Wing attack, stay behind the line, please.
Band obstruction, wing defense.
Lucy Strydom managing to get in front of the defence of Dominic Wepner. 24 goal difference, 30 seconds to go before we get to the half-time break. Interception ball from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and the hard fight at the back by Jody Johannes is in vain. There is obstruction from Johannes, and a shot for Lucy Strydom. And it comes off the front of the ring, so away by Jody Johannes. Not so much time remaining until we get to the end of the 3rd quarter, but if they drive hard here, Cape Town, maybe they can get the ball into the circle and reduce the deficit a little bit. Rousseau misses the target. Still an opportunity here with this Van Schalkwyk, but it's too little too late from the Cape Town side. It looked good around the edge of the circle, but again, shots missed are costing teams here in this semi-final between Kenneth Kaunda and Cape Town. It really has been a good quarter again for the Kenneth Kunda side, the championship quarter, and they've put all sorts of pressure then on the Cape Town side. Quarter scores in the teens for mostly, or in double figures for Kenneth Kunda throughout the match, and single figures for Cape Town. Really leads to a rather one-sided tally with 1 quarter remaining. Dr. Kenneth Kunda well in charge of the first of the semi-finals of today. We'll bring you 4 semi-finals in our live streaming feed from the Swartkloof Private Game Reserve at the SPAR National Netball Championships, the first of which sees Dr. Kenneth Kunda leading by 38 goals to 14 over Cape Town, and another quarter of 13 goals to 4 will just about replicate the score of 50 goals to 18 in the victory that Dr. Kenneth Kunda scored against the self-same Cape Town side on Tuesday. So very much on track for a place in the final for Dr. Kenneth Kunda. As we get underway, we see Kayla Ferreira back at centre there for the Dr. Kenneth Kunda side.
At the transfers. Yes.
Jessica Duplessis back to goal attack. Looks as if Alondeka Buthelezi is retained her place at wing attack, and Adebayo Chivihubi at wing defence. So keeping things tidy as far as that is concerned. That means that Idinta Kubin will still play at goal defence and Monique Renica at goalkeeper into the final quarter. And already it is Dr. Kenneth Kunda who leads by 1 goal to 0 in the final quarter. Jess Duplessis back to goal shooter, and Kayla Ferreira back to centre. Those are the changes that have been made. In fact, Jess Duplessis is in fact playing as a goal shooter, with Lucy Stradom playing as the goal attack. So that's quite an interesting little proposition there, and a little trial protecting Elmarie Vandenberg from any potential injury going into the final match tomorrow, because that's where at the moment Dr. Kenneth Kunda are headed, leading by 41 goals to 14 and scoring 3 goals to nothing in the final quarter so far. And down goes Lucy Stradom, seems to be okay. Goal defender Dominic Wepener in trouble, and a caution
for dangerous. Wait. Carry on. Take
dangerous play. We hear from Teresa Prince. Nice work done by Jessica du Plessis. Waits for the player to land in front of her and then rifles off the shot for goal number 42 for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
For persistent contact. Ready?
Oh, another caution, this time for the centre court player, Keisha van Skalkwyk, for persistent contact. In the meantime,
Goalkeeper obstruction.
looking for the little pop over there, or was it an attempted shot by Lucy Strydom? It must have been a shot. It's a little better at the second time of asking. 43 goals to 14, and yeah, the clock's just gone one way at the moment. The countdown now in the last 10 minutes to try and stay away from any injuries and other maladies that might creep into the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda camp, but yeah, there's going to be no contesting here from Cape Town A, and again the ball's been stolen away quite easily for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who have a nice flow down the left-hand side up to Jessica du Plessis, and Strydom won't be able to keep that in play.
Time for ball.
Last thing that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda can afford to do is to start getting a little bit complacent. There's a final still to play tomorrow. And who will it be against, Johannesburg or Tshwane? Will it be a repeat of 2019, where Tshwane did the double over Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in the A section and in the under-21s?
Obstruction, wing attack, penalty.
Buthelezi in trouble with Teresa Prince. Give a lot of credit to Cape Town A, who've never stopped trying hard throughout the course of the match, putting everything into it, but there's just nothing coming back for them at the moment. And there have been changes from Cape Town as well. Andrea Jordan coming off the bench into a goal shooter role, and means that there's no place for Courtney Bear in the remainder of the match, because the goal shooter Rochelle Rousseau will play at goal attack. Both sides just making very few changes.
And contact on attack.
That will be certainly an obstructive challenge from Monique Reiniger.
Yes. Goal shooter.
Balls all over the place at the moment from the Cape side. They're just not able to make it count at the moment where they most need to, and that's inside of the circle. They're winning the ball as they have done most of the match and producing opportunities, but it's about converting those chances into goals that is been the problem, and it continues to be a problem.
Contact on the ball. Yes.
Contact on the ball from the defenders, and a chance for Jessica du Plessis. 44% goal shooting average in a semi-final. Wow, that's just nowhere near even close to being good enough.
Obstruction, goal defense.
Again, Cape Town A struggling in the final quarter of a match to get any sort of momentum going. And they've failed to score one single goal so far in 6.5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. So yeah, it's a problem for Cape Town.
Contact.
Contact inside the circle, and a little smile on the face of Jessica du Plessis, who will have the penalty, and little bounce pass from her. Lucy Strydom will bag the goal, and Dr. Elsie Jordan can also have a smile on her face. She knows it's a comfortable victory. She probably knew before arriving here today that there was a possibility of replicating what happened on Tuesday with that 50 goals to 18 scoreline. And still in the final quarter of the match, Cape Town haven't been able to score a goal yet. They do have a good drive on the go here with Rochelle Rousseau. Cannot ever write Monique Reiniger out of any match, any time. Du Plessis, it's a lovely finish from the goal attack. Now come goal shooter, formerly centre. And yeah, Dr. Elsie Jordan looking very relaxed next to the side of the court. 46 goals to 14, well on their way. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda to not replicating, then going even better than they did on Tuesday against this Cape Town side. 47 goals to 14 now, and only 3 goals more required by Dr. Kenneth Kaunda to get to the 50 goals that they scored on Tuesday against the Cape side, who need 4 goals themselves to get to the 18 that they scored on Tuesday. But really, it's a rearguard action. Rochelle Rousseau will bag a rare goal then for Cape Town. First goal of the second half then, and we've got a change at goal shooter then, and a change at goal keeper as well by the look of things. So for Lillifeld will come on as a goalkeeper once again. And looks like Kayla Ferreira is going to make way.
10 seconds.
In centre.
10 seconds.
So it looks like Didintle Akiabin is going to play centre. And the goal defence is going to work back to Monica Reiniger along with Van Lillifeld. So just a little bit of changes. That's some experimentation still happening as far as Dr. Elsie is concerned. Missed opportunity there for the goal attack, Lucy Stradom. In fact, that's Elmarie van den Berg that's come on again. So it looks as if they've reverted back to their traditional goal shooter, goal attack combination of Jess du Plessis and Elmarie van den Berg, with the centre being Didintle Akiabin and Rondeka Buthelezi at wing attack. Mixing it up rather nicely at Dr. Elsie Jordan, trying all sorts of things. But Elmarie van den Berg, when she's on the court, she's very metronomic. She gets the job done. And now Dr. Kenneth Gunda only 2 goals away from 50. 2 goals away from equalising the amount of goals they scored on Tuesday. As there's a launch ball towards the circle that misses out completely by Keisha van Skalkwyk. Nice work down that left-hand channel for the Dr. Kenneth Gunda side, and a lovely feed in there as well from Londege Buthelezi to Elmarie van den Berg. She's not able to bag the shot though. We don't have a ball here with Janine Bresla. Keisha van Skalkwyk working it through with Sinesta Pony. A little bit better through the middle, and then a bounce pass, which you haven't seen too much of. Well, you know, suddenly Cape Town making the game of netball look like an easy thing. It's only their second goal, though, of the final quarter, and only their 6th goal of the second half. They scored 10 goals in the first half, 6 goals in the second, and it has been rather a one-sided affair, as was the pool match between these two sides on Tuesday. Elmarie van den Berg again with an opportunity, coming off the bench and resetting her sights. 1 goal away from equaling the amount of goals that they scored on Tuesday. The side from Potchefstroom, mostly. Based in that district anyway, around the Potchefstroom area. So an opportunity for goal number 50 here for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. A little bounce at the back of the ring, and well, there we go. Same amount of goals that Dr. Kenneth Kaunda scored on Tuesday against the Cape Side. The Cape Side haven't managed to get to 18 though. They're stuck on 16. That's 4 goals a quarter in comparison to 12 and a half. It's absolute complete domination from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Nice little take at the back of the court initially from Jody Johannes, but a snaffle comes back from Londeka Buthelezi. Still not able to complete the shot. Buthelezi again with a nice ball in towards Jess du Plessis. Again, she can't make it count. And a couple of missed opportunities aren't doing much for the stats, the averages for the goal shooters, but yeah, on the scoreboard it tells a completely different story. Domination from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Still Cape Town stuck on 16 goals. And held ball, more than 3 seconds taken to deliver. And goes from bad to worse for Cape Town. They'll be happy to get out of this match with a convincing victory, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and with no injuries to speak of, going to the final against either Johannesburg or Tshwane with a full squad, and a squad that's brimming with confidence. A squad that can potentially do the double over Tshwane as well. They will need to do, if it is Tshwane, in fact, who makes it into the final over Johannesburg. Johannesburg's coach Margaret Rootman might have a different to say about that matter altogether. We'll see when that happens a bit later. Final whistle going for other courts, but not particularly on this one, as now there's a 53 goal to 16 margin of lead. And still Cape Town stuck on 16. Knocked away by Buthelezi. Must have been a little touch in there as well.
Sorry, ladies. You were right.
In fact, it was a throw-in for Cape Town.
Yes.
It's been a long week for the umpires as well. Nice touch away by Bianca van Lelyveld. Cape Town have a minute to try and get themselves up to the 18 goals that they scored on Tuesday. Already it's Dr. Kenneth Kaunda who scored more as Buthelezi goes behind her goal defender, Monique Reiniger. I don't think it's going to make any difference, but yeah, the little disciplines have to be observed throughout the course of the match, not to allow any complacency to flit in, because yeah, while this one might have been easy against Joburg, or particularly maybe against Tshwane in a repeat of the final from last season, it's going to be a different kettle of fish. It's Jenny van Dijk, who celebrated her birthday yesterday.
Vantage contact on the arm keeper.
54 goals to 16. Turnover ball. Is there one goal more in the offing for Dr. Kenneth Kaunda? Comfortably through into a final for in consecutive years, and Jessica Duplessis pointing to her own head. But maybe the leap wasn't as convincing from Elmarie van den Berg. No time for the shot to be taken. It won't count, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a complete dominant performance from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in this one. And there was no match at all from Cape Town as far as the quarter scores were concerned. Absolutely dismal affair. 4 goals in each quarter. And when you're scoring 4, when you're conceding 13 and a half goals in each quarter, it really is rather one-sided. Dr. Elsie-Udan will be happy to get into a final to meet either Joburg or Tshwane, which is the next semi-final up. But for Cape Town, it's back to the drawing board as far as trying to build, finding new talent and trying to be more competitive in the A section of South Africa's primary netball championship. The final score then in the first of the semi-finals, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda clinching their final berth against either Joburg or Tshwane. They beat Cape Town by a convincing 54 goals to 16. Welcome to the SPAR Private Game Reserve in Bella Bella. It's day 5 of the SPAR National Netball Championships for 2020, and it is semi-finals day. Already we've had the one semi-final, complete domination again from the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda side in the A section against Cape Town, winning by 54 goals to 16. And the next of the semi-finals in the A section up is Tshwane A, the defending champions, against Johannesburg A. Should be an intriguing one as far as the counting derby is concerned, but last time the two teams met, it was Tshwane who beat Johannesburg by 9 goals, 37 goals to 28. And this is how Tshwane's going to line up then. Still no Inamari Venter, and so it's Tanita van Dijk with Chantal Swart. A familiar look about the side, Vermeulen, De Bruyn and Van Wyk in the middle, Mensah and Mtshangati. But it's a side that can change so much, because Mtshangati can play wing defense, goal defense. Mensah can play goal defense, goalkeeper. Van Wyk can play wing defense, goalkeeper, goal defense. And that's only in the defensive structure. Jenny van Dijk, what hasn't she won in the netball scene? Johannesburg then, with their team, with Lisa Kruger and Renske Stoltz starting in the circle. Kamala Maseko, the national team goal attack, is playing as a wing attack today. I thought she did rather nicely as a wing attack yesterday. Joe Prince, Charanga, Strydom and Van Rienen. So turnover ball immediately from Tshwane. Good morning and welcome to semi-final day in this very impressive Swartkloof Private Game Reserve in the Bella Bella area, which is absolutely phenomenal, and it's a much cooler day as well for the teams to take advantage of. But not taking advantage on that occasion was Chantal Swart after the ball had been won back off the Johannesburg centre pass, and a chance for Simone van Rienen to get us underway. There's Kamahela Maseko finding Panashe Chiranga, who's really coming on in leaps and bounds as an attacking player. I really did like Kamahela Maseko. He wasn't in the starting lineup yesterday for Joburg when they played against Tshwane in that 37-28 victory for the Tshwane side. Not as runaway as they might have expected from the defending champions, but just preparing themselves, I suppose, as a rehearsal, both sides, for a much more important encounter, with both sides already having clinched their place in the semi-finals. Today, a lot more important than yesterday. But the Marlies De Bruyn side picks up the first interception of the match, picks up the first goal of the match against the centre pass of Johannesburg, and potentially sets the tone for the semi-final. Don't forget, the under-21 Johannesburg side will play against the under-21s of Tshwane again. That is a side that was the champions last season in the under-21 section, Tshwane, and against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. So Joburg, Tshwane repeat from the A section into the junior ranks, and a bit of an adventurous ball that from Giante Strydom, and it doesn't pay off because, well, it does in fact pay off. Lovely little touch in there between Renske Stoltz and Lisa Kruger, and Johannesburg had their first goal of the match. Chantal Swart having to play back and almost intercepted. In fact, is turned around by Renske Stoltz. It's good pressure being put there on Akosa Mensah. They've come out with some firepower today, have Johannesburg. It's about sustaining that. It's about limiting the errors too that we've seen creep into the game of Johannesburg. The longer the match continues, the more pressure comes from Tshwane. Renske Stoltz.
Moving off, penalty pass.
The bounce pass, but Nosipa Mtshangati was moving away from her marker. It's a really good shot from Renske Stoltz. 2-all, turnover ball for Johannesburg. Joe Prince, a wonderful acquisition for the Johannesburg side from the Cape Town Stings, provides another opportunity for Renske Stoltz, and she'll bag 2 in a row from that position, and Joburg find himself in front. All back on centre pass now as Marlies De Bruyn comes up with the goods there, and they ball in towards Tanita van Dijk. Chantal Swart has been fouled by Simone van Rienen. So 3-all. First quarter, second semi-final. Lovely ball out towards Renske Stoltz, and Nozipo Nchangazi, I think, has been tremendous in this tournament so far. Failing to make the grade, and failing to make the grade there too. Maseko, she drives the ball past to Joe Prince. Turnover ball for Tshwane. You cannot give this Tshwane side too much in the way of opportunity for free balls, as Joburg has done right there.
Contact center.
The only blemish in the copybook of the Tshwane side was that loss against Dr. Kenneth Gunda by 4 goals on Wednesday. Otherwise, Tshwane starting off the tournament with a 67-13 victory over Kuruleni. And then Tshwane beating Cape Town by 64 goals to 18. So after 2 matches, they were very clear at the top of the table, hardly conceding a goal whatsoever. And then Dr. Kenneth Gunda beat them on day 3, but Tshwane fighting back to beat the Johannesburg side on day 4 to set up this semi-final situation. As far as Joburg are concerned, well, they lost their second match against Dr. Kenneth Gunda after beating Cape Town in round number 1, playing 2 matches on the first day. And they beat Kuruleni as well to pick up their second win in 3 games before sitting out on day 3 and losing on day 4 to Tshwane. So, yeah, it's been a bit up and down. 2 wins, 2 losses. And an easy effort there from Tshwane van Dijk to tie the match up at 4 goals apiece. Tshwane van Dijk said his side learnt a lot from chasing the game down from behind, or trying to chase the game down from behind against Dr. Kenneth Gunda in that 4-goal defeat on Wednesday. So they're well versed to doing that, and Joburg have started off really well here. Perhaps the best start we've seen from Johannesburg in a long time. And credit then to their coach, Marguerite Rutman. It's about sustaining this situation over the course of the 48 minutes in a netball game. And are Joburg going to be able to do that, as they're going to have the Tshwane side, the defending champions, in their face for all of those 48 minutes, no doubt about that. Tshwane level at 5-all.
Possession goal. Instruction goalkeeper.
Umpire Salome Brits on that side of the court, just behind Akwasa Mensah. Another opportunity for Renske Stoltz, a bit closer this time, and not fazed by the wind and the direction of the wind outside. He pops that one in rather nicely. Johannesburg in the lead. Tshwane still playing catch-up. No mistakes from either side in the last couple of passes, as I say that. Nearly a bit of a blemish there for Marlies de Bruin. There was contact, though, by Panashe Chiranga. Looking for the quick hands in and out, looking for the sweep, straight arm. Just misses out. And while the defenders concentrate on the front of the circle, Tshwane van Dijk manages to bang one in at the back of the circle for Tshwane, and we level at 6 goals all. Good interception there from Jeanette Vermeulen. Turnover ball for Tshwane. And making a meal of it as well, as Jamie van Veek tidies up and finds Jeanette Vermeulen. 7 turnovers already in the match. Vermeulen with a 3rd pass in this phase of the game, and unfortunately for Johannesburg, Simone van Rienen had slipped over at the back of the court, allowing a rather easy passage to Tshwane van Dijk. And there we do have a break. Marlies de Bruin side leading by 7 goals to 6, and forced into a defensive centre pass this time. Jamie van Veek, one of the up-and-coming under-21 internationals on the domestic scene. Swart not able to take the shot from that position. Contact again from Panashe Chiranga, or was it closer in to the circle? No, it is on the edge. The pop-over ball from Swart to van Dijk. Oh, she's missed it. The umpire spots a little push from Van Rienen, and another opportunity for Tshwane. So they make use, finally. Took a bit of time to do that, but eventually they managed to convert the opportunity that was created from that turnaround ball. And they lead by 8 goals to 6 to Tshwane, and Johannesburg looking to play catch-up on this occasion. It's been Tshwane who's been playing catch-up for most of the first quarter so far.
Contact goal defense inside.
Mensah with contacts on Renska. Conditions might be not as blazing hot as they have been over the past few days, but it certainly is humid in Bella Bella. Now Changatsi out of play, an easy shot for Lisa Kruger. Reduces the gap to just one goal, but they are a centre pass behind at the moment are Johannesburg.
Advantage of touching in attack.
Sort of situation
Advantage contact center.
like a dog with a bone, because once trying to get themselves in front, then it's very difficult to be able to extricate yourself out of that precarious position. Sunita van Dijk making it count. She's put her hand up to potentially start in a final if Tshwane do make a final. Let me just remind you that earlier today it was Dr. Kenneth Kahunda who clinched their place in the final of the Section A competition with a convincing 54-16 win over Cape Town, replicating their 50 goals to 18 win earlier on in the competition in the pool stages. Turnover ball again here for Tshwane. Joburg finding it increasingly difficult to get possession inside of the circle. Good sweeping attempt there by Simone van der Reen, and a lovely feed from Mara de Bruin. Tshwane up to double figures, double break for Marlies de Bruin, beg your pardon, I nearly called it Duplessis. Mara de Bruin, the captain of the side. There is Mara once again. Short pass in there to Chantal Swart, and Swart will bag one as well. So suddenly daylight opening between the two sides, 11 goals to 7. And Joe Prince and her side finding it difficult. That's a step in error, and perhaps an ankle damage as well to Panasha Charange. So is that a problem for Marguerite Rutman? Because Charange's been one of the go-to players. Can she shake off that little knock that she's taken? She's limping rather awkwardly, Charanga. Hasn't had a timeout called, and a shot missed there by Sunita van Dijk. Contact by Swart with turnaround ball for Johannesburg. Got to make use of each of one of these opportunities. Easier said than done, I suppose. Oh, lovely play there by Joe Prince. Not so great from the shot of Lisa Kruger. There is Margaret Rutman, who will be keeping an eagle eye not only on the field of play but also on Panasha Charanga's ankle injury, because at the moment she could be a little bit of a passenger. She's able to run it off. It'll be fantastic for Johannesburg.
Contact goalkeeper outside.
Goalkeeper Van Reenen just impeding Jeanette Vermeulen's passage towards the edge of the circle, and popped in by Chantal Swart. Still not seeing any support for Charanga. Maybe the coach, Margaret Rutman, is waiting for the end of the quarter, which is just 25 seconds away. Interception ball for Johannesburg. And once again, they need to utilize it. Charanga through to Kruger. Nice use of the width of the court, with Joe Prince finding Renska Stolz. So was that too close from Mensah? No. The stolen ball for Akwasa. Makes himself available there. But what Akwasa Mensah can do, Giante Stradum can do as well. And that all ends with the fabulous interceptions from the two goal defenders, Akwasa Mensah and Giante Stradum. An interesting and entertaining first quarter then from Tshwane and Johannesburg, but it is the Tshwane side who have the advantage at the end of the quarter, and it is the defending champions who lead over Johannesburg at the end of the first 12-minute quarter by 12 goals to 7. start of the second quarter about to take place in the second of the semi-finals in the A section. Tshwane leading over Johannesburg A by 12 goals to 7 after the end of 12 minutes. Looks like Panashe Chiranga is okay to continue for the Joburg side. So setting it underway then for the second quarter. And a place in the final against Dr. Kenneth Kawunda for either Tshwane or Joburg. Turnover ball immediately here for Jamie van Wyk, forward by Kwasa Mensah. A bit of punching in the center of the court, and nobody really opening up matters before Chantal Swart comes in and does that. But then a bit over-enthusiastic pass towards the net for Vermeulen goes missing. Vermeulen's offside. Ball taken away at the back then by Simone van Reenen. Johannesburg looking to drive their advantage. Maseko up to Stoltz. Was she in kept in play? I think she might have been. Renske Stoltz first effort of the second half of the match, and it is Joburg who lead by 1-0 in the second half of the game. 12 goals to 8. Tanita van Dijk, though, neither side have made a change in the first half of the match, first quarter of the match. Sure, there will be changes that'll come at some stage, but nice to see Panashe Chiranga's ankle. He's holding out. Sante Stradom to Maseko. I wonder if she'll get an opportunity to play as a goal attack or goal shooter today. Ooh, risky pass from Renske Stoltz to Lisa Kruger. Flicked away by the Mensah Changase combination. Which is really tremendous play by Tshwane. Hustling at the back of the court from Tshwane. The same applies to Johannesburg, but it's turnover ball immediately from Kwasa Mensah. Van Dijk had time running out. She was off balance. She needed to work towards the edge of the circle. She gets a penalty from Van Reenen and from Salome Brits, the umpire. And that's 2 goals out of 2 passes
Breaking wing attack, 3
for
pass centre
Tshwane.
third.
And then a break from Jeanette Vermeulen will turn ball over for Johannesburg.
Advantage of touch and
These
goal
little
attack.
errors have to be fine-tuned
Contact
by Tshwane, who, don't forget, lost against Dr. Kenneth Kawunda in the tournaments by a 4-goal margin. So everything has to be finely tuned and pinpoint in the final, which, if it turns out to be a Tshwane victory, then it will be a repeat of 2019, where Tshwane picked up both the under-21 and the Senior A title.
Distraction centre, penalty pass outside.
Distraction from Joe Prince, fighting hard in the middle for Joburg. Jeanette Vermeulen, a little bit of space for Chantal Swart. Goal number 15 for Tshwane. They lead by 7. Once it gets into double figures, it starts getting a bit uncomfortable for Johannesburg. Beautifully done at the back by Nozipho Changase. Big cheer from the supporting under-21 side from Tshwane. And again, Chantal Swart coming out looking for work. Good defensive stuff done by Kamohela Maseko. Renske Stoltz been given a torrid time by Nozipho and Changase. What a tournament she's having. I think she's been absolutely phenomenal.
Contact centre,
With a
penalty
turnover
pass.
ball from Joe Prince. No, it's contact called instead. Really getting a lot tougher out there
Joburg,
between the two sides
outside the circle.
to retain possession.
When it costs.
Van Reenen out of
Contact
play
wing attack, penalty pass.
by Prince. Or no, it was contact by Van Vermeulen on Joe Prince. Both sides struggling to get the ball inside of the circle, and the defences for either side have been tremendously disciplined.
Time, goal shooter.
That ball from
Johannesburg.
Joe Prince across the court and going out of play, and now we're going to see a change up front for Johannesburg. It hasn't taken long. We saw Kamohela Maseko taking off her bib. Does she go directly to goal shooter? We'll have that answer for you in a moment, indeed. So Kamohela Maseko to shooter. Lisa Kruger leaves the court, so we need a new wing attack for Johannesburg. Tshwane come in as the wing attack player.
Instruction goalkeeper. Penalty
Well,
pass.
Tshwane van Dijk needs a second bite of the cherry here to convert to the next goal, which is goal number 16, and a score that is double the lead of Johannesburg from Tshwane here, coming towards the halfway stage of the second quarter. Still plenty of time to play. Let's see what difference Kamahela Maseko is going to make way in combination with Renske Stoltz. It's an all Proteas
Contact goalkeeper. Penalty pass.
shooting circle at the moment for Johannesburg. They do have some talent in there. No doubt about the talent of Renske Stoltz, Joe Prince, Shante Stadium for that matter. Panasha Chiranga is up and coming. Kamahela Maseko certainly is up and coming. So, yeah, there is a potential there. Here's Maseko. Tshwane, who came in on the wing attack side of things. Contact made by Marlies de Bruin. 17 goals to 8 is a fairly sizable advantage at this stage of the match, when you're chasing down a final berth. Still only the one goal in the second quarter for Johannesburg. Smile on the face of Tshwane, sister of Bongi. And if you thought Bongi was short, or Tshwane even shorter than her. Maseko goes right over the top of the ring, picked up easily by Nozipho Ntangase. Can't get that sort of gift to a defending champion side. Of course, Mensa in combination with Nozipho Ntangase have been absolutely incredible in this tournament. Nice bounce pass there from Jeanette Vermeulen. Another bounce pass this time, 3 in a row in fact, from the out-court players from Tshwane. An easy take for Tshwane van Dijk. Well, it's one thing having the ball right underneath the ring. It's another one converting the opportunity first time, which he wasn't able to do. But now there is a 10-goal lead for Tshwane. Broken centre pass once again. Advantage for breaking the line from Johannesburg. And one can sense their eagerness. This is a bit better from Tanita.
Don't jump into her after the shot.
57% goal shooting average for Johannesburg so far. That is nowhere near close to being good enough. 76%, well, it's average for Tshwane, but if you look at the scoreboard, it's 19 goals to 8, so probably not too many complaints from Jenny van Dijk at the moment, as the feed from Joe Prince goes past Kamahela Maseko. Coach Margaret Ruttman, alongside of her is Bongi Msomi, who's the national team captain and assistant coach at Joburg. She's a coach under pressure. The national championships were held in Johannesburg in 2019, and Johannesburg finished in 7th position. They make a semi-final this time around. One has to take into consideration the number of teams that are not here. eThekwini, Mangaung, Nelson Mandela Bay, Cape Winelands, to name just a few. And in the A section, that's for sure. So many of these teams, or all of the teams of this year's tournament, might have played 2 matches a day if it hadn't been for COVID and the influence it's had on teams not being here. A second goal for Johannesburg in the second quarter comes as late as the 8th minute.
Johannesburg.
Flowing move down that left-hand channel up towards Tshwane. Good feed off there to Maseko from Renske Stoltz. Maseko will bag one. Double figures for Johannesburg. Is it all going to be in vain at the end of the day? Up and coming goal shooter, goal attack, wing attack, and like to it, wing attack yesterday. Prince gets the better of Nozipho Ntangase. Not many people have, and back-to-back goals there for Kamahela Maseko. Filling different roles in his tournament, but lots of players have. Work being done here by Chantal Swart again. Bounce passes between Vermeulen and De Bruin. Had a good combination between the two of them, and they played against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in the only loss for Tshwane in the tournament. But while they had a good combination, the shooters had a good combination, the defenders seemed to have a good combination. Those were isolated silos almost, and the game plan wasn't complete as far as Tshwane were concerned. Give a lot of credit there to then Dr. Jordan for that success. They might have to repeat that dosage. Again, Joe Prince too strong for Renske Stoltz. Ball just cannoning off the back of the court. Ball by Janita van Dijk. Now lovely work through the middle of the court, and just for a moment I would think that Chantal Swart wouldn't have to do as much work as what she's doing in the centre court. She does come back and offer herself there as an additional outfield or out of the circle player. I wonder if sometimes she doesn't do too much. However, it is turnover ball, and 21 goals to 11 is a lead of double figures for the first time in this encounter, as lovely Stefan keeps the ball nicely in play. Janita van Dijk calls for an over ball. Good work. An easy goal for Tshwane, who now have double the amount of goals than their opposition, and are heading towards another showdown with Dr. Kenneth Kounda's Dr. Jordan side. Don't forget the under-21s. Tshwane and Joburg will be in action after this one. Maseko. Ball just slid off the edge of the hand, but nicely kept in play by Renske, who not able to make it count either. And Shangazi bats it out of play. Salome Brits from the Free State. Bongi behind her on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is Margarita Rootman. Renske Stoltz will bag another goal. That's 12 goals now for Johannesburg, and the 10-goal cushion still in favour of the Tshwane side. It is Marlisa Brain will have the centre pass. Just doing all the right things at the moment, doing enough of the right things at the moment. Tshwane.
Time. Goalkeeper, every time after a shot you jump into her, and that's contact after the shot every time.
So just a little word in the ear of the goalkeeper, Simone van Rienen from Johannesburg, from Salome Brits, is that every time a shot's been taken by Janita van Dijk, there's a little push from Simone van Rienen. Now whether that's just a little bit of a byplay in the match itself is been spotted by Salome Brits, and she'll keep an eye on that, and maybe we'll at some stage have a caution for Simone van Rienen if she continues with that sort of play. Got to tidy things up, and on that occasion she keeps her feet on the ground, Simone van Rienen, and so does Janita van Dijk. But the goal's been scored, and it's turnover ball once again for Tshwane. Chantal Swart arriving just in the nick of time at the end of 3 seconds, bagging the goal as well. As with 8 seconds to go before we get to the break. In fact, it's less than that because we are at the break, and the umpires call on that occasion. But another good quarter for Tshwane. Really have driven home the advantage that they've created over the course of the match, and they won the first quarter 12-7. They win the second quarter 13-5, and it really is a dominant performance here from the defending champions. Half-time then in the second of the semi-finals. Tshwane look as if they're on their way to a final meeting with Dr. Kenneth Kounda tomorrow. As the defending champions lead at half-time over Joburg by 25 goals to 12. We're at half-time in the second of the semi-finals in the A section of the SPAR National Netball Championships for 2020 in Bella. And Margaret Whitman's side under a little bit of pressure. He's the head coach of Johannesburg A, and his side trailed by 12 goals to 25 at the break. Looks as if we're having a whole bunch of substitutions, so we'll try and keep you posted as far as those changes are concerned. The second half of this match welcomes the return to court of Inamari Fenter in the goal shooting role. The last time she played was in the second quarter against Cape Town when they played on a Tuesday in that victory by 64 goals to 18 when she was receiving the ball inside the circle and was unfortunate to stand on the foot of one of the Cape Town defenders and twisted her ankle. Wasn't that bad of an injury, but the first time we're seeing her back on court since then. So a change for the Tshwane side to bring on Marie Fent in the place of Tinita van Dijk. So that's one of the changes. And then we got changes for Tshwane as well, because I see Young Somi is at centre at the moment. So let's go through that again. Snayam Somi at centre. Going back to the Tshwane side, Akosa Mensah will pop up at goalkeeper.
On the other side.
And Jamie van Veek going back to goal defence. And Tangasi going to wing defence. It's not an uncommon situation we see in the Tshwane camp, because they quite often do that sort of thing. So Joe Prince goes to wing defence in the place of Panashe Chiranga, and Snayam Somi goes from wing attack to centre then in the place that Joe Prince has relinquished.
Footwork, free pass. Outside.
Contact goalkeeper, not to cross.
Lots of pressure here on the Johannesburg side.
Tshwane. Time for ball.
Advantage of stepping attack.
Jeanette Vermeulen with a feed in towards Inamari Fenter. Doesn't seem to be having too much trouble keeping her footing. And that's 3 goals to 1 in the second half of the match in favour of the Johannesburg side.
Advantage contact, wing defence, advantage contact. Advantage contact, wing defence.
Advantage contact, goal defense, advantage of touching goal attack.
Wing defence, check your distance now.
Quick hands off the edge of the circle for Johannesburg. Nice shot from Renske Stoltz.
Advantage breaking, wing attack.
Alicia Westhuizen has come in as a wing attack. Then to fill up the role of the rest of the players out on court for the Johannesburg side. So let's go through that for you then. Renske Stoltz let goal attack. Kamahela Maseko goal shooter. Joe Prince at wing defence, because Sam Somi's gone from wing attack to centre, and then Alicia Westhuizen in at wing attack. Away by Nozipho Ntshangase. It's fabulous to see the versatility in the Tshwane camp. They really do have a wonderful bunch of players that can almost play anywhere that's requested by Jenny van Veek. Ntshangase playing goalkeeper, wing defence, goal defence. Mensah, goal defence, goalkeeper. Van Wyk and playing in the same positions, but they switch around with such a great deal of ease. And what they do, they seem to be able to accomplish in all of that, is to retain the momentum, to retain the balance, to retain the fluidity in that defensive situation, as well as upset the apple cart from the opposition. It really is a fabulous privilege to have that combination from Wyk, Mensah and Tsangase. Inemarie Venter getting some game time before what looks like a final again against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda tomorrow, because since her introduction the play has been flowing and there hasn't been much of an answer from a Johannesburg A point of view. 31 goals to 14 is pretty much one-sided, and we're not even in the final quarter yet. Foraging play, as you would expect from Gianti Strydom, trying to upset Chantal Swart's apple cart.
Yes.
The height and the stability inside of that circle by Inemarie Venter, who is a SPAR Protea player, is absolutely phenomenal. And she comes on, she's looking comfortable under the basket. It's like she hasn't missed 2 days of netballing action in Bella Bella. Consummate professional. And a lovely feed by Mara de Bruin. When you're feeding in towards a lass who's nearly 2 meters tall, it really makes it a lot easier. And you know the composure under the
Breaking wing attack, free pass, centre
ring
third.
from Inemarie Venter. It's going to bring a lot of composure to the coach, Jenny van Dijk, as well. As we have a look at Jenny van Dijk
Vantage
looking
contact,
composed
attack,
on the bench.
vantage obstruction.
Might be a different story tomorrow when the way things are going at the moment. Tshwane meets Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in that A-section final. We'll bring both of those matches to you. It will be on your World of Champions SuperSport tomorrow. And we'll have a couple of the former Protea players in the house to be able to assist as far as analysis is concerned. Simeon Daka will be here. Nathaniel Mdadana will be here. Nontlekwavu will be here. As well will be our presenter, Andy Mahamba. So the A-team are on their way from Joburg, and safe travels to them with the producers and directors for the TV part of the show. But I'll tell you what, there's been nothing wrong with the live streaming feed that's been in operation since the beginning of the tournament, and I hope you've enjoyed it at home. 35 goals to 14 and a gap of 20 goals. There's only 17 minutes remaining, so they've dug themselves a hole here, have Johannesburg. They're not scoring goals. Only 2 goals in the second half of the match so far. Westhuizen.
Contact goal, shoot up, penalty pass.
And goal shooting contact by Lisa Kruger.
Structure wing attack, penalty pass, centre third.
Inemarie Venter just a little bit away. That could almost have been a short pass between the two players. Oh, easy grab away there for Inemarie Venter. She misses the shot, but just snaps it away from Gianti Strydom. It's a round of applause from the under-21s, who are warming up next to the side of the pitch. Or meant to be warming up next to the side of the pitch, because don't forget, our next match is Tshwane Johannesburg, Part 2, under-21 section. Out of the brain again, finding Inemarie Venter on the stretch. She looks so comfortable on her comeback game here for the Tshwane side, and I'm sure that at home Dr. Elchiotani is having a look at this comeback from Inemarie Venter, and she'll know that she'll come up against Venter tomorrow in the final, if indeed Tshwane make the final, which it looks as if they are clearly going to do. Contesting between Strydom and Chantal Swart, and a pop over to Venter. Venter will bag another easy goal. Well, since Venter's come on, the taps have been turned open, and in 9 minutes we've had 15 goals to 2 in favour of Tshwane in the championship quarter. Tshwane showing their pedigree, driving home the advantage, and really showing that they're not a side to be trifled with.
There you are.
Johannesburg having very few opportunities. Alicia Westhuizen forced back to come to the byline where Joe Prince was waiting for it. Mara de Bruin will flick an interception into the path of Akwasa Mensah. And then the flow of the White Bebs just dominates the centre of the court. Contact by Van Reenen.
Outside.
Already we've seen Cape Town being knocked out of the semi-finals. Been a very, very comfortable performance by Dr. Kenneth Kowunda, and 54 goals to 16. And the Cape Town out of play as far as the knockout rounds is concerned. And Johannesburg look as if they're heading in the same direction. Stoltz decides not to take the shot, and there's contact by Akwasa Mensah.
Goalkeeper, penalty pass inside. Goal attack, move.
Stoltz looking for an opportunity.
Contact goal defense, penalty
Contact
pass.
by Jamie van Beek. And finally, there's another goal for the Johannesburg side. They have to fight so hard for every bit of possession, for every single goal that comes their way. They're only being smothered by Tshwane at the moment. 39 goals to 15. Anybody Fenter comes back to the byline, does a little run across the back of the court, calls for the ball from Swart, gets the ball from Swart. There's a minute to go in this match before we get to the end of the third quarter. And when you're leading by 40 goals to 15, absolutely no ways that the opposition's going to come back and trouble you in the final quarter. 15 goals to 3 in the third quarter so far from Tshwane. 12-7, 13-5, 15-3. It's a scale of possibilities that's getting worse and worse for Johannesburg, and for Tshwane improving returns. It's a net from Mulan, and a dummy being thrown to the front of the court by Inimari Fenter allows Swart to arrive at the back of the post to pop in an easy goal for goal number 41 for Tshwane. With 16 seconds left in the third quarter, this one is probably already done and dusted. There's a bit of an adventurous ball between Swart and Fenter. But I suppose you've got to try these things when it doesn't matter, because it really doesn't matter at the moment the way the score is right now. Margaret Whitman knows that the journey end is close. There's one quarter remaining, but such is the deficit that his side are going to have to pull out a monumental final quarter if they to get anywhere near the score of the Tshwane defending champions. Fabulous final quarter then, 16 goals to 3 in favour of Tshwane. 12-7, 13-5, 16-3, 41 goals to 15 is a 26-goal margin going into the final quarter. Tshwane won't be caught here. We'll have a repeat of last year's final in the A section. 3 quarters done of the second of the semi-final matches in the A section, and just as we saw in the first semi-final in the A section, it's pretty much a one-sided affair. I don't think it comes as any great surprise having a look at the teams throughout the course of the tournament so far. And yeah, Jenny van Dijk will be happy. I don't think she's a coach under pressure, just a little bit of hydration for her, no more than that. But yeah, so we are underway then for the final quarter. I can tell you that there have been changes made by Jenny van Dijk, giving opportunities for the entire bench to come on and have a go here. So anybody Fanta will continue with goal shooter. Pintile Sitoli at wing attack. Tracy Mtunzi at wing defense. Melody Jacobs will come in at goal defense. And an easy goal there for the opening goal of the final quarter then for Joburg Renske Stoltz. But how much of a difference that's going to make, I can't be sure of telling you. Smile on the face of Inemarie Venter. If she can get through this little fitness test, then it's going to be a very big boost for Tshwane ahead of the final against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. The ball almost seemed to slide away to the right-hand side a fraction from Lisa Kruger. But it is another goal then for Johannesburg, who lead by 2-1 in the final quarter. Marlies de Bruin looking for movement from Chantal Swart. Nice little pop in for the equalising goal in the quarter. 43-17. Much bigger margin of lead than when they met during the pool stages, where Tshwane beat Johannesburg by 37 goals to 29. It's only an 8-goal margin of lead. Today it's a lot bigger than that. Renske Stoltz with a chance. Lisa Kruger, who catches it at the second time of asking away by Nozipho Ntshangase. And you had a look at the shooting stats a bit earlier on, and Johannesburg nowhere near up to the standard they should be. And while Tshwane are probably not shooting at 80 either, they have accumulated as many goals as they need to win this encounter. Lovely to be tall, isn't it? Inemarie Venter. Lovely big smile on her face as well. 44-17 now. Turnover ball for the Tshwane side. Breaking the line as well from Johannesburg doesn't help their cause whatsoever. And Venter will bag goals as well. It'll be a nice psychological situation for Tshwane to get up to the 50-goal mark. Venter shooting at 86%, which will do her confidence no harm whatsoever. Contact though was made by Melody Jacobs. Quick hands in and out from the edge of the circle by the new centre court player for Johannesburg A.
Advantage, breaking wing attack.
So Ashley Gray getting an opportunity to play in the final quarter of this one, the final quarter of the tournament for Joburg A. Nicely won back by Simone van Rieenen by Joburg A. Nice little hustle off the left-hand side of the court as well from Maseko. Picks up the drive off the right. Of course, Mensa really hustling very hard indeed. Oh, there's hardly any movement on the side of the court. De Bruin looking to snaffle things up there. Offside from Marlies de Bruin. Oh, out of court from Lisa Kruger. Maseko again playing in the wing attack role in the place of Alicia Westhuizen. That's where she started the match. That Kamahela Maseko had a spell at goal shooter.
Touching goal attack, center third.
Tremendous tournament from Akwasa Mensa. A couple of the players that might not have had ordinarily as many chances at the TNL putting their hand up, and one of those has been Nozipho Ntshangase. Another chance for Renske Stoltz. Bags that one. And The 5-goal-4 lead for Johannesburg in the final quarter. I don't think that there'll be too much of a worry about it, though, as far as Jenny van Dijk is concerned. Lovely high finish on the toes. Boxes it to the bottom of the net, and Inamiri Venter is back, ladies and gentlemen. Ashley Gray having to do a little bit of a pirouette. That's not a great ball, though, when you've got Nsankase and Mensah working together there.
Distraction ring defense, penalty pass.
With a bigger partner, it's Melanie Jacobs and Akwasa Mensah. Nsankase not on the court at the moment.
Vantage goal obstruction, goalkeeper.
Venter shooting at 78%. But when your shooting partner is shooting nearly 90%, then the scoreline just keeps rolling on. Thank you very much, and it's exactly what Tshwane are doing. So 3 goals away from the 50 mark, and Joburg on 20, offside and contact by Ashley Gray.
Contact goal defense, penalty pass.
Contact this time by the Joburg goal defense, Panashe Charanga. Inamiri Venter assertively grabbing that ball underneath the net. Match taking on a bit of a tame complexion at the moment because of the difference in the scoreline. Very similar to the first of the semi-finals, although the opposition here has scored more goals than Cape Town did against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Footwork, free pass.
On 20 goals at the moment. Footwork and step-in area from Pindile Sitole.
Advantage of touching defense and centre.
Oh, lovely poaching away there by Melanie Jacobs. And the feed over the top of the shooters by Ashley Gray.
Advantage offside, wing attack.
What might have been for Margaret Ruttman, who played against the Tshwane side yesterday in a rehearsal of this match. But unfortunately, with the introduction of Inamiri Venter, the scoreline's going to be even worse than it was yesterday. It might have been in that situation anyway, with the half-time score 25-12. Johannesburg fighting hard in a losing cause at the moment. That's short from Renske Stoltz, and there's a lot of disappointed heads dropping in the camp of Johannesburg at the moment, so one can understand why. Once again, they're being dominated by their northern neighbours. And just look where the ball's been picked up here by Chantal Swart. Again, Swart gets the receive from Marlies de Bruin. Switch play to Venter. And those would be the sort of concerning challenges that Jenny van Dijk could be worried about. Panashe Charanga just falling over the leg of Inamiri Venter. No damage done on that occasion, but so easily an injury can take place, like the one against Cape Town that kept Inamiri Venter out of 2 matches. Inamiri Venter plays the ball off the back of Simone van Reenen, rather strangely. But the shot is converted by Chantal Swart, and that's goal number 50 for Tshwane. 50 goals to 20, a lead of 30. It was more convincing from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda against Cape Town, but we are talking about first versus fourth in comparison to second versus third. But still, this match is a one-sided affair. 12-7 in the first quarter, 13-5, 16-3. And while Johannesburg have scored 5 goals in this quarter, there have been 9 goals scored by Tshwane. The dominance is evident for everyone to see. So breaking the line again from the Joburg side. And Tshwane not sticking around. Inamiri Venter with a chance here. She's looking so good at the moment. Yes, you'll have a different opposition when you play against the defense of Kenneth Kaunda with Judith Kiepien, Monique Reyneke, Bianca van Lilleveld in that defensive structure. So yeah, it might not be as easy for Inamiri Venter in this one, but certainly Tshwane are very, very happy to have her back in the ranks, back in the colours of Tshwane, back on the court. Marlies de Bruin accelerating forward by Tracy Mtunzi. Quick hands from Marlies de Bruin. Not sure whether Pindi Lisitoli was actually waiting for that one, but it's a nice feed to Inamari Venter. Tshwane
Advantage breaking wing attack and goal attack.
keep on rolling on towards the final. It's going to be repeated last season with Tshwane against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda.
Goal attack.
Substitution for Tshwane. We're going to change the goal attack. It looks like Jeanette from Mullen is going to come and play a little bit of goal attack here in the place of Chantal Swart. That's a backup plan from the Tshwane coach, Jenny van Dijk. And a change in the center of the court as well, because Joe Prince
On the whistle.
has
Ready?
come on for Johannesburg into a center court role in the place of Ashley Gray. Goal for Renske Stoltz. Changes made by both sides late on in this encounter. But still, it's 53 goals to 22 and an advantage of more than 30. Poached away at the back of the court by Van Rienen. Final whistle is for the courts on the outside of the championship court as Renske Stoltz will bag another goal and trying to get Johannesburg underneath that 30-goal deficit, because it is a turnover ball for Joburg. Paseko looking for possession, but the good defense from Tshwane is keeping Johannesburg at bay for the moment. Paseko.
Penalty outside.
Wing defense contact on the edge of the circle by Tracy Mtunzi.
Advantage offside.
Joe Prince gets contacted by Maralies de Bruin, who's offside anyway. Oh, that's a missed opportunity for Lisa Kruger. Not that it's going to make any difference at all to the final reckoning, but yeah, so we're looking at Joburg to get underneath the 30 score deficit. Doesn't look like that's going to happen before the end of the match, though. 30 seconds remaining until we get to the final whistle. Little pirouette for Venter. We'll have to get a wriggle on here with a shot, and does. Another turnover ball for Tshwane. And in the hopes of finishing within 30 goals of Tshwane from Johannesburg, rather been obliterated by that goal from Venter. Another chance for Inamari Venter, who marks a return to the court for Tshwane with a fabulous second half performance in the colours of the defending champions. Final roll of the dice here for Johannesburg. And at the end of it, it's a mighty successful day for the north of Gauteng against the south of Gauteng, and Johannesburg capitulating here after only losing by 8 goals yesterday. Today is a different matter as they come undone by more than 30 goals, and Tshwane really burying their teeth and showing their pedigree in towards playing in the final tomorrow, because that's going to be the situation. They'll play in the final tomorrow, well, Tshwane against Dr. Kenneth Kaunda in a repeat of 2019. The final score then in the A section, semi-final match between Tshwane and Johannesburg, sees Tshwane winning by 55 goals to 23.